free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine! Occupation is a crime! Free, free Palestine! Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Israel's one word! AIPAC!
And they were shot at and killed several Palestinians trying to enter prey on in their area. Or like, the thing when
Can I call you for one more picture? Someone sends my girlfriend in Iran,
but
and I want to make sure I get
a man shooting a woman or something like that, right? There, it's like 10 times as much. Like I said, the kill rate for a Palestinian, if they're charged with anything, is like 0.3%. Like, how can that be just when they just come up with, you know, like, most of the charges that get made here against somebody, you know, a lot of it's
How you doing? Good. I'm gathering you came up from Eugene for this event.
I did, yes.
Yeah. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what's going on or what brings you up here? What motivates you to come out on this?
Well, a number of things. I'm the co-director of the Al-Nakba Awareness Project, which is trying to educate Americans about the truth in the Israel occupation, 60-year occupation of Palestine, dispossession of some 4 million refugees now that are registered with the United Nations, refusal to return their land to them in contradiction of international law. Articles 13 and 17 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights say that anybody has the right to go back to their country and say that no one can be deprived of their property. Israel agreed to do that as a condition of its admission to the United Nations in 1949 and has never fulfilled that pledge. And it was interesting, I just attended a film last night that was sponsored by an Asian association in Eugene, looking at the internment of Japanese during World War II. And I asked them to imagine that internment had never ended, that the Japanese were still interned 6 decades, 3 generations out, still unable to return to their homes, homes given to white Americans, and not even any compensation ever given them. And that is what the situation in Palestine is. And it was not just 1948, it's been going on ever since. Since 1967, there have been almost 30,000 Palestinian homes bulldozed by Israel.
30,000?
30,000, yeah. And according to the Israeli Committee on House Demolitions, it goes in and tries to rebuild them and tries to block the demolitions in the first place in collaboration with Palestinian NGOs, And then in '67, Israel grabbed the rest in a falsified preemptive war. They claimed they were under threat, and they were not. And the Israeli generals at that time admitted it. Hey, these people weren't preparing to attack us. Nasser was at least a year away from even the capacity to attack us, but they wanted to grab them while they could. And even Menachem Begin admitted it 15 years later, 1982, in a speech to the U.S. War College. He said, well, we really have to be honest. We decided to attack him, meaning Nasser. So it's been one whole 60-year fabric of lies, deceptions, where the true story has been almost precisely reversed, where the victims are made into the criminals. Obviously, the Palestinians under occupation have the right to resist under international law. They have the right to armed resistance, although it's inadvisable when you're going up against F-16s and helicopter gunships and all that. But they do have the right to armed resistance. And of course, they're being denounced as terrorists, you see, just the way, and it's become the excuse for the United States, invading much of Central Asia in search of resource control and geopolitical control. The same thing we did in South America during Operation Condor, again for political control and resource extraction. where the CIA and our appointed dictators, accounted for the outright murder of about 50,000 people, another 30,000 desaparecidos that were dumped in the ocean, disappeared and never to be seen again, and over 400,000 that were incarcerated as political prisoners, and that all began under Nixon, Kissinger, and went on for 20 years. And then, anyways, it goes on and on and on. It's just incredible imperial greed in the service of multinational corporations and Israel. And the economic power of these people is enormous. I mean, the Israel lobby basically controls Congress through campaign finance control.
And that's what this dinner is about.
That's what this dinner. AIPAC is the main hood ornament, the main figurehead organization out of 52 major American Jewish organizations, all of whom support Israel in lockstep, and have arranged to infiltrate the U.S. government. They have infiltrated the media so that we get no truth in media in the United States, in the mainstream media, unlike the rest of the world. The rest of the world knows the truth. Israel's only concerned about controlling America because we have the veto in the Security Council. And we have vetoed 43 resolutions, Security Council resolutions, that would have disciplined Israel. And what's interesting, each time we were the only country in the world on the Security Council. So you got 4 other permanent members, 10 other rotating members from all over the world. Not one of them on any of those 43 occasions has ever voted in favor of Israel.
Except for the United States?
Only the United States. And that's all Israel cares about, because we have the veto.
Boy, there's no accountability for what the U.S. is doing here.
There's no accountability, but we are controlled not because our elected people really believe in Israel. There's a handful that do, like Schumer and Lieberman and so forth, but most of them are simply controlled by campaign finance. Anytime a senator, particularly a senator, they try to control the Senate because there's fewer elections. There's only a third of the Senate that are up for election in any given cycle. And if any senator steps out of line by not supporting Israel or telling the truth about Israel, their opponent will be massively funded in the upcoming campaign. And it's the kiss of death politically. They got rid of William Fulbright, Senator Fulbright, distinguished Rhodes Scholar, former Rhodes Scholar, chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, when he tried to force AIPAC to register as a foreign agent. They got rid of him. They got rid of Senator Charles Percy of Illinois. They got rid of Senator James Aberitz of South Dakota. They got rid of Paul Finley, congressman from Illinois. They got rid of Cynthia McKinney, a very distinguished congresswoman from Atlanta, who actually was our Green Party presidential candidate in the last election. She's always told the truth about Israel. They got rid of her.
By bringing in big dollars to fund the opposition,
right,
and run them right out of the arena, more or less, their voice.
And now AIPAC cannot give the money directly because they represent a foreign government.
Wow.
But what they do is they serve as an agent to funnel funds from private individuals.
They introduce
every election cycle, the wealthy Zionists in America, like Sheldon Adelman in Las Vegas and others back in New York, they contact AIPAC and they say, who do we need to get rid of on this election cycle? Where should we put our dollars? And so they're given usually a fairly small list of people to go after.